Welcome to LC Podcast, episode 3.
Episode 3.
Starring Peter.
Hi.
Graydon. Matt.
Episode 3.
Jarrod.
Jarrod?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't see you there.
Come on.
You know what I didn't see? Any green on St. Patty's Day.
That was a pinch.
You
fuck-
too,
That wasn't-
Mr.
it wasn't
Your
real.
I
fingers-
honestly, like...
Do it!
So, it's... it's St. Patrick's Day today. It won't be
What about
St.
him?
Patrick's Day when you watch this. Dude, forget about me, okay? It won't be St. Patrick's Day when you watch this, but for us, it's St. Patrick's Day. So, happy day that's an excuse for North Americans to drink excessively and appropriate Irish
Only
culture.
North Americans, huh?
I don't know. Fuck. I mean,
That was,
actually...
that was the most westernized statement I've ever heard in my life.
doing-
This is a Western holiday for Americans to
No,
drink
no,
themselves to
no.
sleep tonight.
St. Patrick's Day, I would be willing to put down money on the idea that St. Patrick's Day actually has historical significance in Ireland, and they don't drink
It
fucking
does.
green beer.
You're the one that just said this is a day, an excuse, or
No.
a day for Americans to drink excessively.
Yeah.
What I mean is, it's like
The Irish also drink
like-
excessively.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
that's
That's
all
not what
the
Matt
time,
said. That's
though.
not what
They
Matt
do that every
said.
day. No, I meant more like it's just like for North Americans specifically, St. Patrick's Day is just an excuse to get fucking wasted and wear green and appropriate Irish culture. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it absolutely has more significance elsewhere. And it's less about getting wasted and drinking green beer and more about celebrating St. Patrick.
It does and it doesn't. It's both. You're right. It does have.
He's done his
it
research.
does,
to an extent,
it does have
yeah.
historical value, and
Yeah.
like people, it's about St. Patrick driving there's like some sort of religious group out of Ireland.
Cool.
But the Irish also just use it as an excuse to drink as well, just like everyone does.
But don't the Irish just use like every day as an excuse to
Yeah.
drink?
That's why I love the Irish.
So I want to be Irish. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I mean, you know what? St. Patrick's Day, it's cool. I don't think I really even noticed that it was St. Patrick's Day because it's on a fucking Sunday. Like I have to go to school tomorrow. Like I'm not
For
gonna.
whatever reason, I thought St. Patrick's Day was in April. I don't know why. I don't know.
What?
I don't know what crossed my mind, but I thought it was in April.
Man, I never know what St. Patrick's Day is. I'm like, oh hey, St. Patrick's is coming
Yeah.
up.
But like
Yeah,
on that
yeah.
topic, it's like I don't even know what day it is most of the time. I'm just like, oh, it's another day. Do the same shit, different day.
Yeah, I went on Twitter earlier today. I was like, oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. Now I know.
Well, it's like my computer, for whatever reason, the date on it is tomorrow, and the
Oh.
time on it's like 5:24 p.m. or no a.m. But the time is set to Mountain Time for like Canada, U.S. So I don't know what happened there, but I believed my computer, and then I looked at my like clock in my room, and I was like, huh. I would have totally gone with my computer if I didn't. I don't know. I don't really pay
The
attention.
technology it's trying to bring us down. Although, is St. Patrick's Day one of those holidays that the date shifts, or is it always March 17th?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I don't know. Let's
All right.
GTS.
That's everyone.
Graydon's
Everyone
on it.
stop talking and pull out their phones.
Pull out their phones and just
I
sit.
gotta replug in my Google Home for times like this. That way you can just be like, hey, Google!
Why did-
Yes.
Why did you unplug it? Do you think
Because
it was,
it was showing up as a public Wi-Fi, and I didn't know how to fix it. And rather than being like, I'll fix it later, I was like, let's just unplug it. That way people don't just join and fucking cause me problems, try to
It's
hack
Held on
into
the
my
17th of
internet.
March every year.
It's on the 17th of March.
There you go.
They have a Wi-Fi network open so that devices can join them to like pair them to the internet
Yeah.
and shit like that, but it won't let other people do anything because it's already set up on yours.
I
How do
don't
you
know.
know this, Matt?
Because I sell them a lot. Because it's my job to know a lot about them. Thanks.
you laid a trap for
Thank
Matt.
you.
You laid a
Thank you.
trap. And he
I do
started.
my research, man. I gotta know these things.
You gotta be informed. I would love the Google Home because I also got Hue lights, so I can just
Oh,
tell it
nice.
to
Yeah,
turn the lights
man.
on and off.
Yeah.
I'm getting super lazy.
Yeah, you're trying to fall asleep. Like, shut those lights off.
Well, the thing is, it's like it's weird how that kind of technology enhances your life, even just in like small components, you know? Because like I bought 3 of them. I set 2 of them up in my living room and 1 of them for my bedroom lamp. And before I had that set up, whenever I went to bed, and you guys are gonna laugh because this is the most ridiculous thing to take issue with, but I'd have to have my lamp on, or if I turn my lamp off and then turn my bedroom light off, I'd have to find my way to my bed in the dark. And like don't get me wrong, I don't have a mansion bedroom. My bedroom's tiny. It's like 2 steps to get to my bed. But I'd be like walking out with my hands like fumbling, trip over the
Why
bed,
don't you
stuff
just
like
give
that.
your eyes like 5 seconds to adjust the dark so you can see
Because I want to go
shapes?
to bed, dude. I don't want to just stand there and be like,
Guess a
It
monster,
doesn't take that
the
long.
monsters
Matt,
will get
the
him.
amount of time you did that, you could have probably turned your lights on and off like 3 times,
You know, when
and then
you
they would have
turn off
adjusted
your
3
lights
times.
in the basement and then sprint upstairs so the monsters don't get
Oh
you.
yeah,
It's
I
like
remember that. Yeah.
oh yeah. Yeah, but it's like it's stuff like that. Like now, because I have a Google Home in my room, I can just be like, "Hey Google, turn on the light," or like all this different stuff. It's just I find it kind of interesting how that works out. Like just like being able to use your voice as kind of a medium to like do stuff. I think we all just got a Facebook message at the same time.
You know what I like to do? I say I like to use "Hey Jarrod, get up and turn the lights on."
Jarrod never has the right answer.
Yeah.
Like, I'll ask him questions.
I ask him,
Yeah.
he just comes back with some BS. He says go use Wikipedia or something.
Or he's only like, I only know medical things. Sorry.
I like, Jared, don't turn on the lights. Hey, Jared, fuck off.
Hey Jarrod, no, you fuck.
Hey Jared, set an alarm for 7:40 a.m.
Listen, see, you say you use those, but I mean, I don't know how you do it, because for me, I use like getting up to turn my lights on in the morning as a way to get up out of bed, like especially on my early mornings that I'm up at like 3:30. It's like the best way for me to just get up, because otherwise, I mean, I'm like anyone else. Like, I mean, I get up early in general anyways on outside those days,
Brag about it.
but it's like on those days that I have to get up super early, I'm like anyone else. If I sit in bed, I'm going to
fall
stay in
asleep.
bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, that's like the best way to wake up and just go
Here's
and have no excuse for it.
yeah. What I do to get around that is my alarm's on the other side of my room,
Yeah.
so I have to get up and turn it off. The other thing I will say that's super nice about the hue lights is like I got a dim blue setting that's super easy on the eyes in the morning, as opposed to be like, oh
nice.
Jesus,
That's perfect. That gets me up in the morning.
no, I don't like that.
You know what else? I also like use my toothbrush, because it's like the electrical one, so the vibrations wake
Put
you
that
up.
in your
And
anus.
then I go like put my head in like hot water, and I'm like, woo!
You're like, ah,
They'll do it most of the time. Yeah.
yeah.
You have a weird
That's why my
morning
face is
ritual.
always so red.
It's not like I didn't go boil a kettle of water and
Yeah.
just like,
Just imagine like Jarrod getting waterboarded. He's like, I'm awake.
He's got a Rube,
Let's go.
he's got a Rube Goldberg machine. The candle burns the rope. The marble goes down the thing. Jared's sitting
in the,
at the
in the
bottom.
end,
He's like,
in the oh, God, oh man,
Morning rituals.
yeah. So
So,
I work early. I start work at 5 a.m. I've been pissed off since 5 a.m. It is now 6:30 in the evening.
It's been 12 plus
It's been
hours.
12 plus hours.
That can't be good for your blood pressure.
Fuck off. And here's why. Without going into incredible amount of detail, here's why I'm pissed off. Where I work, Sundays generally suck anyway. So I came into work, and I managed some people, and I immediately, right off the bat, had 3 sick calls. And I was like, great.
Not how you want to start.
Not how I want to start. So I sit down and I start like building people's schedules. And I'm looking at this one guy's name. I'm like, I wonder if he's called in sick yet. And then the phone rings and it's him, and he's calling in sick. And I'm like, great, sweet. So that's 4 down. We get like things start to pick up. Things are working. In the middle of our rush in the morning, I found out 3 other people are not here today.
Ooh.
And I'm like, fuck off. Where's the communication? Someone should have told me about this. And it's just steadily declined from there. And the fucking icing on the cake is I have to drive where I work. And we have a seatbelt rule, like most places do. I was pulling in to this area to park. I took my seatbelt off, backed up 7 feet or so to park. My manager's like, hey, did you have your seatbelt on at a complete stop? I'm going to have to write you up for that. So now I'm on progressive discipline
Oh my god.
because I didn't wear my seatbelt to back up 7 feet.
the good news is, Graydon, what did we learn from this incident?
And then 20 minutes later, I saw that same manager driving around without a seatbelt. And I was like, you fuck.
Did you call him out on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened?
Nothing.
Did he write you
I'm
up
going
again?
above his head. I'm like, listen, no. This isn't it. I'm going above. So like today's the whole day. I was just like, this is fucking nope.
Yeah. Well, sorry to
I'm
hear
angry.
that. Well, I mean, hey, I mean,
So if you want to fight me today, now's the day.
That's a day.
If you want to have an argument, I'm ready to go. My blood is
Oh,
boiling.
I see. If I want to pick a fight,
And
now's
I'm
the
already
time.
drinking whiskey.
Yikes! Now I don't want to pick a fight with you. Otherwise, you're gonna pick a fist fight with me.
No. I'll just stream.
Stream.
I'll just stream.
Stream.
Just
I'm
open
gonna
up
stream.
Stream the fight.
Stream on live connection.
Only hosting.
Check us out.
Only hosting though.
We're gonna take
Is that
over
the
World
camera? Do I
Star.
look at the camera.
Yeah, that's the camera.
Nice.
Nice.
That's
So
my first time seeing that. Yeah, you could have been recording the entire time.
I could have been
Wow,
recording
this-
with whatever I
It's a good
want.
thing you weren't recording when Graydon was naked over
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say like I was just
then
like
Matt
I'm in
was
the
just-
corner of the couch. I put my legs.
So
up
Matt,
like this.
Mount-
was just going
and
to town.
And then, and then I just opened up, and there was just a hole. I went downhill.
Yeah, I got to witness it all. It was yeah.
It's pretty bright when you
Yeah.
did that. It was pretty bright.
You know those I was gonna say those moments where they see something spectacular. Well, it was that, except nothing spectacular. I was just super white.
It was that or a great idea.
Great idea from Jerry Slice.
Yeah. Light bulb.
Yeah, I got my light bulb. Boop. Oh my god,
Just like your morning ritual.
Just
This,
one bright light bulb.
that's not where the light bulb.
How don't you use that to wake up in the
he
morning?
gets up. He's like,
You just,
oh!
Peel it back. You're like, oh.
He has to look down so he blinds himself.
My sheets are like those blackout blinds that people have, so I
Peters.
can go to sleep.
You gotta wrap yourself up.
You like accidentally sleep in. Your mom like runs over, like takes the sheet off. You're just like, ah!
Man, going to the bathroom in the middle of the night must be rough for you.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you wouldn't have to turn on any lights.
Here's
You
the
just
thing.
Get up and
Here's
be
the
like,
thing.
I am
So-
the nightlight.
I'm going to Australia.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so goddamn white the first time I take off my shirt
You're
and
gonna
go
be white the
swimming.
entire time you're there.
What do you mean? I actually tan.
You'd be white, then you'd be red when you burn.
My
You're
I,
gonna be red.
I tan because of my dad.
Your dad is very tan.
Does
My
does
my
your
dad
tan you?
my dad's yes he tans. Takes a spray tan and just like shh.
I thought you were like, son,
You-
direct your energy.
Who needs a tanning salon when my
Oh,
thighs
God.
radiate light at a shortwave radiation?
They just lie down in the machine. It's really just Jarrod with his legs like wide open, like right above them.
And
He's like,
that
how's
poor-
your day going?
that poor girl in Australia. She's gonna go blind and have just an incredible tan.
But yeah, I'm seriously. I'm gonna go for a tan. I'm gonna hopefully tan.
Are you gonna?
My-
are
my-
you gonna tan before you go?
No.
Okay.
No, why would I waste my money on that?
Oh,
I'm gonna go in
Curious.
and they're gonna know. They're like, he's from up north.
yeah, I get the Canada hat.
When are you going to Australia?
June 2nd to June 24th.
But isn't that when it's winter in Australia?
I wear shorts
to them.
at minus
Or
37.
not for us.
Yeah.
But
Their winter is 15 to 25 degrees Celsius.
Oh, that's
Oh.
cold. Oh, man.
oh jeez.
Like,
Yikes.
Never mind. I thought they got like snow and shit. I thought they were able to like snow.
What? What?
yes,
In Australia?
Down the
directly on the equator of the Earth, there is a line of snow.
Yes, the koalas, the snow animals.
You know what?
snow bears.
What helped the snow is that there's no UV protection from the ozone there. It just the sun just turns into snow once it hits the atmosphere.
That's some magic right there.
You know, you're gonna see some weird shit though. Like you're gonna be out there in like shorts and a tank top. You're gonna be sweating, and then you're gonna see the locals in like.
Well, I know,
parkas and-
I know. She already was telling
Their
me. She's like,
toques
I
on.
already got. She's like, when we go swimming, I know that you're gonna be in shorts. And that's all you're gonna be in. I'm gonna be in a wetsuit, and I was like, oh, I think that's an
You were like,
exaggeration.
oh, that's hot.
Will Smith. That's hot. That's hot.
That's hot. Oh my god. Yeah, fuck. What a great meme.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta do that.
Uh,
If ever a lady is flirting with me, I'm gonna do that.
It's hot
That's hot. And then she'll stop
with that
immediately.
face. You have to approach it with that face.
That's great. I'm excited for you to go.
I'm excited to go.
No. It's gonna be an adventure. You're gonna go down under.
A gross son of a bitch. You know that?
What are you gonna do the first time you see like a
Going down
rattlesnake?
under.
Like,
Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna end that sentence with "see your friend."
you didn't even let me finish it, and you're immediately just like sexual reference. Here it comes.
Listen, Graydon says a sexual reference to any girl in my life. You're like Jorge.
Yeah.
Jorge's the same way. This is great about
Girl?
Jorge. I will come back to your comment. I promise, Matt.
Cool.
Jorge will be like, anytime I talk to anyone of the opposite sex, he will be like, he'll come up to me, and there's this thing in pretty much. There's this thing in one of our classes called the quiet eye. It's like the last moment of fixation. It's been proved false, but he still uses it as a joke. He goes up. He's like, he'll come up and be like, and that's his like symbol for quiet eye is like just like this, and he'll be like, what is quiet? Every time I'm talking to someone of the opposite sex. Does not matter. Does not matter. I could have hung out with them and been best friends. They could have been like anyone. You name it, and he'll come up and be like, and I'm like,
Stop.
and he'll be like, who's that? And they give me a nice wink, and I was like, God damn it.
That's where you go. No.
No.
Why would he do that? That's so.
Because it's Jorge.
So
It's the
rude.
You have
memes.
to meet him. Yeah, you have to meet him. He's a hilarious dude.
Probably met
Super
Jorge
quiet
before.
though. Like
Jorge?
yeah, around like new people.
Yeah, you got to
Like
know him.
Like I met him a decent amount of times, like 7 times. He's still quiet around me.
You just you just got to get to know him, man. It's like my other friend.
I'm not invited to the Beautiful People's Club.
You're invited to almost every party I have.
Yeah, but that's
But that just means you're invited to
That's like
Jared's
a
party.
complimentary guest pass.
In all fairness, all of you have been invited to most of my parties that I host, but most of you just don't show up.
Yeah.
I went last time. When was last time?
Says uncertainly.
It was in the winter. No, you were not there.
Yeah, you didn't even fucking invite me, dude. I would remember. I would
was
remember.
there. You didn't invite me.
I was standing out on the road looking at.
Beautiful people.
All around me are familiar faces.
I'm just like I just go close mine. Don't worry about him. Don't worry. He comes around and scratches the window every so often.
Every so
All right,
often.
rattlesnakes.
Yeah,
what's
come
up?
back. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to know, like, what are you gonna do the first time you see like a real ass like animal that can kill you like within like inches of your body?
I mean, I've been in the presence of a wolf pack. I've also been in the presence of cougars and the presence of
And
wolves.
me.
And or, I said wolves already. Sorry, bears. That's what I meant to say. So I mean, I've already like had that experience. I'm just gonna do the same thing there.
This is the man who discovered a beetle.
I've been to the
Oh,
zoo
yeah,
too,
that's fair.
Jared.
That's not where I saw them. That is
I was
not-
in close proximity to a bear, other than the barriers and the grass, and
I had to have told all of you about that wolf pack story, right?
I've
No,
heard that wolf pack.
I've never
You haven't heard it?
before.
All right,
All of the animals that you just referenced to, I've never once heard you say that you've been like in like close proximity.
Well,
to them.
cougars twice. Those ones, one was quite far. I think it was like about 100 meters away, give or take. I mean, I'm obviously basing it off of my perception of it. The other one was really close. It was actually just down the path from us, and we saw it. It saw us, but it went off, and we kind of did the same thing, went the opposite direction. The bears, I mean, it's the mountains. You can walk around most trees and see a bear, so I mean, it's not that.
Wait, like you were like actually on a hike and there was a bear nearby?
No, we were doing backcountry stuff. Yeah.
So you were hiking and there was a bear nearby.
Yeah, we were hiking. We were on a hike, technically. A hike means that there's a trail laid out. Anyways, continue.
Fuck, there's a difference.
I don't even know what the outside is.
I have windows.
Yeah.
You
Anyways,
blocked
so
them out.
so we were
Fuck the outside.
we were hiking, and we came. It was up near Banff. It was just a bit west of Banff, and we were just going up through a clearing, and it was coming up to like kind of a field, and there was some elk and whatever, and we walked up and literally ran right into the entire Banff wolf pack. Like the entirety of that wolf pack. Like it was, they obviously knew we were coming before we knew they were there, but we came out of the clearing, and the first one was probably, I'd say, like, if I was, and obviously they won't know, probably about, I don't know, like 15 meters away from us was the first one. And the rest, they were all just kind of sitting there, like staring down at the field of elk. And we were just like, That was probably the one of the few times that I've been like the cougars. We actually weren't too worried about because usually when you're in groups, they won't bug you.
Yeah.
The bears are usually the same way as long as there's not any young with them.
Yeah.
But the wolves, that was the first time I ever actually was in a situation where I was like, shit. This is.
I will
this is
become
bad.
the alpha.
This
Alpha or
alpha's
death.
meal. But that was like one of the few moments because there's 10 of them that we could see. And yeah, it was pretty intimidating, but yeah, that was.
So what? How did you get out of it?
We just walked back the way we came. We literally
How did you get out of there, man? You take your Bowie knife and
because they were hunting obviously the elk down below, so they weren't too interested in us, which was good. So we were
Yeah.
pretty lucky that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty intimidating.
That's pretty crazy, man. Like, I don't know. For all the times that I've ever been in the wilderness, I just don't feel like I've ever felt like dangerously close to any animal. Maybe it's because I talk unbelievably loudly when I'm on a hike for that exact reason. Like, I know exactly what does and does not, attract animals to come near you when you're on a trail and stuff like that. But I guess I've been lucky because I don't know what I would do if I were in an encounter with a bear, because I have the training. I know what you're supposed to do, but like I can't imagine the idea of playing dead and letting a bear like sniff me and like bat me around and shit.
Well, and the shitty thing is like a lot of those like protocols are never guarantees, right? Like
Exactly.
Like
It's
that's
just the
that's
best
the, that's
approach.
the yeah, exactly. It's your best chance of surviving that situation.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I've learned to hike all the time with a knife. Graydon got me a freaking machete now that I can carry around.
that's
Oh, I remember that. I think I remember that.
You see
But
those
like-
wolves again.
But like I've always
that
hiked
video
with,
never came out.
I've always hiked with a knife.
All right.
Just because it's like, for example, the guy who got attacked by the mountain lion. You're always like, I know my odds aren't great anyways. Like if I'm getting attacked by a cougar or a wolf or anything, my odds are very,
Yeah.
very much stacked against me. It does
Yeah.
not matter the situation. But at least if you have a knife, it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have a little bit better chance. Like the guy at the mountain lion, he said he was trying to jab it with sticks and they kept breaking. Well, I mean, if you had a knife with them, it would have been a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's also some other like variables, but I don't know. For me, I always hike with a knife just in case. We also do it for survival purposes, right? In case you get stuck out there, like you need stuff for survival.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, no, I've been in. So when you talk about like when you see an animal that can kill you, it's like I don't know. It'll be intimidating for me more so the insects because here we don't really have
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Like we have snakes that are poisonous. We have big animals that can really mess you up. So it's like that aspect to me isn't as bad. It's the fact that there's like tons of poisonous insects and like small things that can literally shut down your entire nervous system with like one bite. And to me, that's just that's just ridiculous.
And I think that's kind of what I'm more referring to, I guess, in a sense. Like it's not even necessarily down to just insects. It's like there's a lot of fucking snakes. There's probably like
I'm not too
other
worried
things
about
around
snakes, believe it or not. I'm really, for me, I'm even the spiders. I'm not too worried about. I don't know. You want to see me run? You show me their hornets they have there because I will run.
Yeah.
Listen. I have a huge fear of hornets, like huge fear.
Like hornets specifically, or like black and white?
It used to be all of them in general, and I'll tell that story now. Might as well.
Cool.
We're on it. So like when I was younger, we were playing Follow the Leader in Ontario by our cabin, and it was my turn to lead. It was like, yes, I'm the youngest. I finally get to lead. This is gonna be awesome. First thing I do, I climb this rock, and then I stepped on this old table. And underneath that old table was a hornet's nest. And I had a whole shit ton of hornets fly out my pants, my shirt. I had stings everywhere from like all over my body, stings and bites. And I was like I was like shrieking.
How old were you?
I think I was around between 8 and 10.
Oh, you were crying your fucking eyes out.
Oh,
man.
I was serious. Are you kidding?
Didn't you like not move too? Like you just like stood there crying?
Well, I stopped moving initially because I thought like, I don't know why this is the first thing that came across my head, but I thought like pine cones were like falling down my shirt because I kept feeling like something like in there and I was like, what is going on?
Pine cones.
And then all of a
not
sudden,
again.
then everything just started to burn. Like literally my body from like head to toe just started to burn. And that's when I was like, I just like let out a shriek and just started running. And my mom like came and like ran out of the cabin, picked me up, tore my shirt off, tore my pants
Wow,
off.
she's brave.
And just like,
no, that's, I think about that a lot because you told me the story, and I think about it. I was like, man, if that was my kid, I might have just left him. Like,
I would have just thrown him in the lake whilst the hornets can't swim.
but yeah. So
Listen,
ever
it's a natural
since
selection.
ever since then, I had a fear of like bees, wasps, and hornets. I'm good with bees and wasps now. I don't really care if bees and
Yeah.
wasps are around, because wasps are usually, as long as you just like leave, you don't like antagonize them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or antagonize them. So antagonize them. That's
Yeah.
As long as you don't antagonize them, they won't do anything. They'll just buzz around like an annoying ass. And then bees, I don't mind at all, because they're the same way. Like, unless you literally grab a bee and like can hold it in your hand,
It's not
it's
gonna
not
do
going to sting you.
anything.
Like, it
Yeah.
may land on you, it may fly around you, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not going to sting you. Hornets, I still can't. Like, a hornet comes near me, you want me to run and scream? I will run and scream if you put
Yeah.
a hornet
It's
near
not
me.
lying.
You know, Jared, I'm really happy that I can relate to you with this, because I'm the exact same way with wasps. I didn't have nearly as traumatic of an experience as you did, but just like when I was a kid, I just had multiple instances of wasp stings that were just like when you're a kid, you're kind of a pussy. You just, everything hurts, right? But like I think if I got stung by a wasp now, it wouldn't hurt nearly as much as I remember it hurting. But it's that fear of the memory. Like the first time I ever got stung by a wasp, I was before we moved out of our first house in England. So years and years and years ago, I was very little, and flew in through the window. It landed on my neck. I moved my neck down. It stung me 3 times on my neck, and I was like, you're a kid, so you're like, ah! Right? Like you're just like
Yeah.
screaming your head off, right? And then the second time I was camping with my family, still living in England, I was reading a magazine, and one had landed on my thumb, and I didn't realize until I stood up, and then it stung me. And it's just like, I think there was probably like 1 or 2 more occasions being stung, but it's just like those instances were so painful that I just can't do wasps. And so for a while, because like following that, I learned how to deal with them. Just don't mess around with them. Just stand still, let them like lose interest in you and stuff like that. But like nowadays, for some reason, it's just completely turned on its head. And whenever a wasp gets like in my vicinity, I just peel it out of there. I just run,
Man,
basically.
true.
I don't have a great origin story like you guys. I have one with bees where I watched a bee sting me, and the bee, like, it stings you and its its innards get pulled out. I remember being a kid, I was just watching that happen. Like, he stung me, and then he like flew away, and all his guts were getting dragged out, and then like he finished and he died, and I was like, oh, this hurts. And then that's when it kicked in. But I never had a thing with hornets or bees or wasps or anything, but I still hate them.
Yeah.
And I hate them a lot. And I got like, my dad grew up in Ontario, and he's just like fine with things like that, where if a wasp lands on him, we'll just like and kill it.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of the same way, but I just have this burning hatred for them, where I've like, if I find one in my room, I'll catch it in the cup, right, and I'll just leave it there. I'm like, I'm gonna watch you die for the next
my
3
God.
days.
Well, listen,
I'm
like,
gonna watch you.
The worst part about that, like, yes, okay, it was very traumatizing, the whole like incident itself. The worst part, the thing that really kind of ingrained itself in me, was the fact that after, I felt so much pain. Like, there was just sharp pinches everywhere, radiating for like probably at least a week following it. And it was just like a worse thing. It was like you're still being stung without being stung. And I was like, this is the horrible thing. So that's why I said, when you talk about things in Australia, yeah, okay, if I see a giant ass spider, I'm not going to be there and be like, oh, it's fine. Oh, come here. Give me where's my hand?
Pencil.
But it's like, I don't think I'm going to be too worried about that. When I see the hornets that are double the size of the ones that are here, I'm going to literally shit myself, and I'm going to probably throw my friend in front of me. Take it.
You're just gonna put her on your back and run.
I had what I think was a killer wasp fly into my ear in Cyprus when I was about that same age as when I got stung those other times. Like, and again, then I knew to just stay still and stuff like that. And I saw it out of my periph right as it flew like into my ear, like into this space in my ear. My dad was standing right there. He's like, Matthew, don't move. Don't you move. And I'm just and then it finally just like disengages, flies away, and I was just like, fucking goddamn it. Yeah, like
it's scary. You know what's intimidating, and this is why I will never go hiking in southern states. Is the killer bees.
killer bees.
So the thing with and I obviously I don't know every fact about it, but the thing about killer bees is like, if you interrupt any single one, because they always travel in groups.
Yeah.
if you interrupt any one of their activities, they will chase you for, I think it's for kilometers. Like they will follow you and attack you for kilometers. And if you try to do the thing, like a lot of the time with wasps and hornets and stuff, if you submerge yourself underwater, eventually they'll lose interest. The killer bees will wait there until you surface and attack you as soon as you surface.
What if you drag them under with you?
Well, then you're gonna get killed by the bees.
No, yeah, but you're not gonna. You know how many of those are in a like a group of killer bees? You're not gonna
I'm thinking
pop.
like 5 max.
You're not gonna pop out and be like, "Oh, come here, come to me."
I just imagine you're in
I'm
the water,
thinking-
like
I know. One comes down, I grabbed you. Oh, another one. Someone's just like sitting over there like with some binoculars. You know when like old people sit on their decks with binoculars and they're just like looking. Someone's like watching from afar. They just see this guy bobbing up and down, and these killer bees one at a time going into the water.
your face is like here, then it's like over there.
Sandra,
It's
come
like
here.
whack-a-mole for. But
This kid's getting attacked by bees in the lake. He's taking them down with him. Bees.
Mics can't hear that
but
noise.
but yeah, no, like that'd be my verse. Like I'm not too worried about Australia. The thing I am worried about is like the first thing we talked about was like a lot of the ocean stuff, right? Because she wanted to know if I was a good swimmer. I was like, well, I got to high like lifeguard level swimming here. I know it's different. It's not ocean tides. I understand that concept. But like I'm still a strong swimmer. Like that was my point I was trying to make to her. But then she was like talking about some other stuff. So we got past that and she's talking about like the octopuses that are like this big, those little blue ring octopuses.
Those guys are.
And that's like death. As soon as it touches
really?
you, you're dead.
But like they're
There
just
is-
super poisonous.
Oh,
Or they're super strong?
they shut down your respiratory system, I think it is.
In like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they cause
Wow.
like instant suffocation inside your body.
How do they inflict the poison on you?
It's usually you step on them or something, because they'll try to get away, but you'll see them the blue rings like highlighting when you get close to them.
Oh,
But some of them, like, I mean, that's not guaranteed, right? If I'm walking in the water, I'm not always. I might now. I'm going to definitely. You better believe when I'm in Australia, I'm looking around. I have like one of those poker sticks, like jabbing as I'm going through the water. But like, yeah, if you step on them, do that stuff. They also have the little tiny, I forget what kind of jellyfish it is, but it's a little tiny one that can also cause severe damage to you. It's but I believe that one is like tide driven, so usually it's in different spots depending on the season and the tide. So it's I mean, like she was telling me all this stuff, like obvious precautions. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna trust that wherever you take me, I'm not gonna die.
yeah.
That's basically how I was like, you live there, you know, like the everything. It's no different than I live here, and it's like if I go take her out to the mountains, I'm not gonna take her. I mean, I say that, but I've walked into things incidentally. But like, I'm gonna take her places that I know are like. They're like you're 90% chance of not seeing anything.
Yeah. Like
Man,
on the
it's
surface
fucking-
for us, like looking at Australia, we just see like the
Death.
possibility and stuff like that. We know that these animals are there, but I think when you live over there, you know like what kind of situations you'll actually find those answers, or those animals, and it's the same situations like. People might think that like polar bears are just gonna walk in our backyard or something like that, or like we're gonna be placed in these situations against our will. But it's never like that, right? Like,
Well, and it's like that's what she was saying too, is talking about her coming to Canada. It's like, well, you guys have bears and all this, and that's a good point. Like to anyone who doesn't live around bears, I mean, they're a big ass freaking animal, right?
Yeah,
Like it's not.
yeah.
You have a 1,000-pound animal that's just gonna be lumbering around, and it can like kill you with one hit of its paw.
yeah, but a bear's they're in the forest, like insects. They're
No,
everywhere.
that is true.
That's
like,
for me. That's what.
but you got to look at it too. Like BC has black widows.
that. Yeah, that is true.
They're I mean they're not as poisonous as redbacks, for example, but they're the same family as spider. They're literally the same family. They are poisonous. If you leave that bite from black widow, you will die. So it's like we do have those things. We have the brown recluse spider, which I believe is the most poisonous spider in the world in
think you're
general.
right, yeah.
And that's in BC, and that's in Canada. So it's like to me it's like we don't have the amount of poisonous things they have, but we do have some extremely deadly animals in Canada.
teeth and claw animals.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like
exactly.
in BC the same thing. You go flip over a rock and you'll probably find a black
Scorpion.
widow. Because whoever was one of my friends was in BC, and they would do that to clear their yard of some stuff, like the major areas they went.
Yeah.
They would go and flip things that were like on the ground, and they would lift it up, and there'd be a nest of black widows. And it's just like, to me, that's just disturbing.
Fire.
Yeah, that's like, oh, we're starting a grass fire right now. It's all done.
Just pulls out a pistol.
You know what I found out though is like we have centipedes,
Yeah.
right, in usually like moist areas in Calgary.
Moist.
And I always thought centipedes were just super poisonous, but I found out that it's only like other centipedes that are super poisonous. Our centipedes are like, they'll bite you, but they're not gonna.
Yeah.
I never thought they were poisonous.
Centipedes
them
in like
are,
the jungle are.
Are they?
They're also like the length of your arm.
And
So
thickness.
if any,
not going to the jungle. Not going to the jungle.
so
We're going outside.
if anything, even
blackout curtains up.
even if they're not poisonous and they're the size of your arm, that's gonna hurt like a bitch if that thing bites you.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh, anything the size of
Do you
my
ever?
arm.
I got two thoughts. One, it's already like I feel very like terrifying being a parent. Can you imagine being a parent in Australia? It's like my kid already wants to kill himself, but there's also so many other things that want to kill my kid.
Apparently, the worst one that she was talking about was this. I don't know what it is, but it's a spider that like hides in the sand underneath something, and it like
Oh, I know that's
launches out,
Camel
grabs
spider?
something,
Oh, yeah.
and then pulls it back
Oh
in.
my god!
I think
And
it's
she's
Have you
like,
ever seen that
she's
Facebook video? That's
she's had or seen people like she's seen. I believe she's seen people, or she's like heard about it or whatever, where it's come out and like grabbed someone's foot incidentally just based off the vibrations. So like launched out and bit their foot, and then like I don't think that spider's overly poisonous, but still
Just the jump
something-
scare alone.
It's big though. I
Yeah,
think,
no,
right?
and
I think
and
it's
it
a camel
hurts, and it-
spider.
yeah, and it hurts like because it's a bite. Someone's biting your foot, it's gonna freaking hurt.
I think it's the size of your hand.
So there's a
Anything
like-
video.
and like-
jumping out like that.
It's pretty bulky
Yeah.
too.
There's a video that really circulates on Facebook, which I'm thinking is of that exact spider, and it's like it's just one of those ones that's really iconic for how much it catches you off guard. It's like it's literally just somebody filming like a little like dirt pile that's in a jar, and they like put a little maggot like right there, and then like it takes a while, and all of a sudden this thing just fucking explodes out of it. And like
I
if
think
you're
it
like
might be
afraid
the
of
funnel web spider. I think that's what it is because
Yeah.
it brings it into the hole and then it traps
God,
it.
it just like I'm not necessarily afraid of spiders, but man, like watching that video, like for one, it's really startling, and two, like it's kind of freaking me out just talking about it.
Spider used dig.
Because whenever, and this is the worst thing you can do, but I did it anyways. I watched a bunch of I used to watch those bug wars on
yes.
I think it was
Yeah, yeah.
Discovery or National Geographic or whatever it was.
You found it on YouTube.
There's so I started I've watched them there too, but I watched this one guy, he's from Australia, and he like collects these things just to see how they interact in a biome together. And he caught a redback and like some various other very poisonous spiders. He caught a praying mantis that hunts redbacks or hunt. And then he did a few other things. Anyways, those redbacks through every video he has reign superior to all of those creatures. He had one redback take down this spider that was like 3 times its size. Like it bit it and fucked it up. Like it was done.
It's just immediately like
And those are like he was showing, he goes and grabs it from his railing in his backyard. Like that's where he collects these spiders. They're like underneath his railing in his backyard, and he's like, oh, this he like walked out casually. He like looked in and he's like, oh, and over here is all these redback spiders, and they're in there. They're
See,
in this leafed area. Don't worry
There's
about
just
it.
like no fear in Australia, and then that's what I kind of got when I was there.
Yeah, and redbacks are like they're about the same size as a black widow, so they're like about yay big, give or take.
Also known as the Australian black widow.
Yeah, and I mean, if I see one of those, like if I'm like sitting, the worst thing I'm worried about is I wear flip flops a lot, like all the time. I might not wear flip flops there because I don't want to be just like sitting there and not paying attention, and then all of a sudden something like bites my toe.
You're wearing like steel-toed boots.
Hazard suit everywhere I go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're quite fortunate to live in Canada in a lot of ways. Like, I think even just having this conversation has made me think a lot about that. Like, you get really accustomed to the place that you live in, and we have to deal with things that I think people from other places in the world would think horrendous. Like the fact that we have to like exist through -30 weather and shit like that, like a lot, and the amount of the majority of our year is spent in just freezing cold. Like that might be horrible to some people, but we deal with it just fine. But the idea of like living in an area where tiny things that are easy to not see can just kill you, I'm out. I'd rather freeze to death. Like
I believe in environments, Canada's tundras, like the northern tundras, are some of the most uninhabitable places to live.
Yeah.
Is just because there's not a lot that grows there that's edible. There's not a lot that you can grow in those temperatures.
Yeah.
I forget. I was one of the courses I took for our outdoor survival was talking about it. But I mean, I don't hike in the tundra, so I don't really care what they said about it, right?
The tundra, you like in. Did you say it's in Alberta or in Canada? So
In
it'd be
Canada.
like, so it'd be like Nunavut and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? Yeah.
I think one of my favorite stories out of Australia is a Australian construction worker who went to the Porta John, sat down, and I don't know what type of spider, but spider biz dick.
No, I
then-
I heard
and
that.
then
That's
I
when
heard-
you're like, well, I died today.
And then he went to the hospital and he like pumped it and he got taken care of and he went like back to work like the next day or a couple days later or something.
well, this is the thing.
And and he was super like concerned and worried about it. And he watched them like bring a new Porta John and like clean up the new one. And he's like, okay, now's my chance. And he went, dick got bit again.
I never go into a porta
So this
potty
is the
ever
thing.
again.
I know this is my thing. I will never like in Australia. I don't even like to do it in Canada when you go to like some of the outdoor places. Like if it's necessary, like if I have to, like I'm gonna fucking burst like a bubble if I don't. I will. But it's I don't know because there's things like it doesn't have to be poisonous to bite you. Like we have all the spiders in Canada can bite you.
Yeah.
They
Not even
except
gonna bite
for
you.
the daddy long legs. I believe they're aren't they like supposed to be the
they're
most
really, really venomous, but their fangs are curved in a way that they can't actually bite.
yeah.
Oh really? Oh, I didn't
Yeah, because
know
I
that.
remember hearing that they are like the most venomous spider
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah, it's
or no,
really
they're not
funny.
even a spider. What are they? They were
They're like a slightly different type of bug that's like mistaken as a spider.
yeah, but it's like I don't know. When I sit in like even doing like an outhouse like at our cabin and stuff like that. When we used to use it, because we'd have the indoor one, but they'd always promote go outside, use the outhouse kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
I'd always hate doing that because they have those big water spiders in Ontario, and like I've had those things when I was been sleeping. I had one crawl across my face, and like literally like it crawled like over my forehead and like down the other side of my pillow. And I did one of those things where it was like, oh no, like like something like bugs you. You're like, oh god, and then I like instantly like eyes just went.
Hey.
Shit, and I like got it up and I just started like whacking it with a pillow, and my sister was like, "What the hell's going on?" And then I got the Raid because we like lined that with Raid, and I tortured that poor thing. I sprayed it so full of Raid. I think I wasted like half a can on that water spider. It like I watched death happen. I watched it like it started like just sprawled a normal spider, and it turned into this tiny little ball as it like
Oh.
shriveled itself
Yeah.
up. I felt so bad after, but it scared the shit out of me.
It entered your safe place.
Yeah, I was like, don't touch someone when they're sleeping.
This didn't need to happen. This is your doing.
I had this other one where we were staying at a friend in Winnipeg, their house, and I was just in kind of like their guest bedroom, but it was like a storage area. And the Spider-Man's, the old Spider-Man spider, like the big round circle with like
Yeah.
the tiny leg things.
Yeah.
So it was also dark, so this is like your eyes don't perceive everything perfectly. But I felt it. Like I was laying there, and I had a hard time sleeping anyways because it was a shitty bed. But it landed like from the ceiling onto my leg, and I like kicked it, and I saw it like crawl into my sheets. I was like, "Well, I'm not sleeping the rest of the night." And it looked like one of those Spider-Man spiders, it was like a little
powers.
It looked like a
Yeah.
little circle with little tiny arms, and I was like, "Well," because they also have Black Widows in Winnipeg, I believe.
Winnipeg
Fascinating.
sucks.
And I'm just like, and I was like so terrified that that's what it was.
Can someone who's good at pronouncing things read what that little excerpt on Daddy Longlegs?
The opilioins, what the fuck is that word? Are an order of arachnids colloquially known as harvestmen, harvesters, or daddy long legs. As of April 2017, over 6,650 species of harvestmen have been discovered worldwide, although the total number of extinct species may exceed 10,000.
Dang.
They all look the exact same. I mean, I say that, but I'm like, yeah, I'm sure there's some
You're no expert.
phenotypical variations in
That's a
them
big
more so than
word.
there.
Yeah,
Big
nice.
word.
10 word points for that one.
Thank
Jared.
you.
did
Thank
really
you.
well.
Of course, yeah. I have no idea how to pronounce. Even after hearing you say that, I have no idea how to pronounce that word.
Yeah, that's not my strong suit.
Opiliones.
I
Gangnam
would say
Style.
I would say it's probably pronounced opilions, most likely.
Yeah.
Sounds like some
Hold
fancy
on.
food.
No, okay, I was gonna see.
Matt would actually, yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised. Having like kind of learned English in England first means that I actually pronounce words in a really strange way. And because I spent so much time reading like really big words when I was a kid, there's a ton of words that I
Brag
actually
about
just, that I actually have have no idea how to pronounce in real life. Like this is a random aside, but like I've had so many. I can't think of a specific example off the top of my head, but I've heard a word and read a word and understood them as completely different things, even though they're the exact same. Like never knew that a certain word was spelt a certain way, or never knew that a certain written word was pronounced a certain way, and stuff like that. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Like it's just something kind of weird about like growing up in the way I did with like vocabulary and stuff like that. Dude, you're really not nailing your own password to your phone.
It's backwards.
Where is it? Up here?
It's the first word, the O one.
Opiliones? Opilones.
I'd say opiliones.
Perfect.
Do you think this is,
Oh my goodness.
do you think that's how the song is created?
They're trying to pronounce
Yeah,
it.
they're trying to pronounce this.
I'm looking up how to pronounce it right now.
I was gonna do that.
No, I'm going on Wikipedia. I'm doing it for you. Okay.
I was just gonna punch it into Google and say pronunciation.
Yeah.
Opiliones.
Yeah, actually, that's fucking not helpful.
Anyways.
But like, yeah, so it's like I don't know. I don't think there's anything really to worry about when I'm there. And I mean, people live there and nothing happens
Yeah.
to them. So it's like I'm not worried to the
Yeah.
extent where I'm like, oh, everywhere I go, there's gonna be something there. The thing that really bugged me.
What? Opiliones.
That's why you do not use those to pronounce words.
It's Opiliones.
Opiliones.
Excellent.
I lost my train of thought.
You'll be okay, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, so it's like the only thing that bugged me that she said was like, you're handling their house spider, whatever it is. I forget what it's called. Huntsman spider.
Huntsman spider.
Yeah, it's a pretty big spider,
Yeah,
and they're super fast. But they don't do like a lot of them will leave it in their house because they'll kill the rodents and they'll kill other
I
spiders.
fucking hate this spider.
Dang.
But the huntsman spider, yeah, it's super fast. Like apparently it's like lightning fast. And
I fucking hate this spider.
what?
The huntsman spider?
Yeah.
That's the way it looks, or?
Yeah, the way it looks, how the size of
See?
It's in.
Fuck. Don't even look. Don't even.
Can you save that picture so you can
Yeah,
send it to me? So
I thought the prey was like a part of it at first. It's just like this normal spider with this
that's
long.
that's actually its tongue. It like sits there. It sits there on the wall like.
There's just a general look at it. I fucking
that's too
I
long.
hate,
No,
That's too
no,
big.
no.
I hate
no.
that spider.
No.
I see like videos and stuff about it all the time. I'm like, fuck you.
But
Like there's
they're-
people like from
they're-
Australia. There's like, oh, there's a spider in my house, and it's like this big, and it's like in the corner of the room. I'm like, I wouldn't take my eyes off that thing.
No,
I'm watching you until you
Well,
die.
it's like okay, when we're in Ontario and those water spiders, me and you are the same way. Those things are massive, and then you'll see me and Grin like standing on our bed like ah!
I'm holding my skirt up.
Well, anyways, guys, I think that about does it for our Australian survival guide and other
Yeah,
topics podcast.
Is it already done?
Yeah, we're out of time.
we got a little thing going on at 7.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I told
Time
everybody.
flies.
Flew.
Yeah, I told everybody to like be there precisely at 7 p.m. sharp, and then here we are at 7:10 still recording. Stop it! Stop it! I wish to see no more spiders for the rest of today. Do you understand me?
Okay.
Good luck.
I feel like it's not gonna turn out that way.
But yeah. Thanks for watching. Feel free to drop a subscribe and
Just one.
Only
Just
one.
A subscribe.
well, if you do it twice, you unsubscribe.
Well, they,
Yeah,
could, they could create a new channel just to subscribe to us.
All right. So please leave us a subscribe or create a second account or more and subscribe multiple times. Hit that bell for notifications on our videos
Ding.
and yeah, leave a like. Helps us out a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and also, we didn't have as
Oh,
many
yeah.
kind of pre-prepared conversation topics for this one, but we're still interested to hear what you guys want to see us talk about. So stop it.
Do not let us know. Don't do it.
Matt,
guys.
Matt only wants spider topics.
Send them spider pics.
on Twitter.